My normal school day routine, just everyday lifestyle. Okay, so I wake up at about 7, and usually I just wake up by myself, and my parents will go like, "Oh, why are you waking up by yourself so early? Oh, what a good boy!" And like Chris just comes up to me and just like keeps on licking me and all that stuff. And I take a shower and all that stuff, and it becomes 7:30. And I usually have up and go, and my mom sometimes gets angry at me, keep on having up and go only. She sometimes forces me to have other rice, and especially, I think, like, the start of the week, next week, I think she'll ask me to eat her sushi or coffee buns or something like that for breakfast. Okay, and until from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, I just get all my stuff ready, and like, I usually forget sometimes, so because my house is just in front of the school, I sometimes just come at lunchtime and just get my homework if I forgot anything, and I just go back. Yeah, so I just pack all my stuff until 8, and then at 8:15, the school starts at 8:30, I go to the school. And there's my friend called Kushan just lives about like 3 or 4 houses to the left of my house. So and usually he stays in front of my house waiting for me, and I didn't know, and like he just keeps on waiting for me until I come out, and I usually go to school with him. But something that's not really good is that like my house isn't exactly in front of my classroom, except if we don't go by the crossing, we get like 3 principals detentions, and if we get like 10 or 20 principals detention, we get expelled. So even though I live in exactly like about 10 meters in front of my classroom, but I have to go right down until where there's a crossing, and then I have to cross, and then I have to come back down again, and then I have to go in. Yeah, and when the school starts at 8:30, for 30 minutes, usually 30 minutes, we have this thing called form time, and form time is where we stay with our just normal classmates, and there's a form teacher, but we don't usually like stay with or talk with our form teachers, because we only meet our form teachers for 30 minutes each day. So that's the only time we get to see her. Well, my form teacher is Mrs. McDougall, and like compared to my last year's form teacher, she's really enthusiastic, and she's like trying to really care for us and stuff, and we have this thing called logbook, and every subject we bring it to the teacher, and the teacher gives us a mark, and like comments and like the homework, and positive people and negative people, and we always got 5, which was 5 out of 5, and our teacher would get always happy, and on Friday she would buy chocolates or chocolate cakes for us, and everybody saying, "I think that's a waste of money," because she uses it all on just our kids every day, and our teachers actually don't really care what mark they give us. They just forget about it, and at the end of the lesson, the logbook monitor goes like, "You have to like do this," and the teacher's like, "Oh, okay," and he just writes 5, and we just get all these chocolate stuff for free. Yeah, and also because it was Easter last term, on last week, she bought hot cross buns at Countdown, and we had about 2 or 3 big, about this big hot cross buns, 2 each, and if the whole class has to eat it, she like probably bought a lot of hot cross buns, and she actually used the microwave, saying like E13s, and it's like, "Get out of my way," and just like heating up all those over 60 hot cross buns just for us. Okay, yeah, and phone time we just talk, and we don't really do much. And next we have maths. Well, we don't usually have this routine, but I'm just saying, I just picked one of the days. Maths, we have Mr. Fotherby. He has this kind of like weird kind of accent, like he's kind of like British kind of accent, but yeah, whatever. And he speaks over 10 languages. He speaks like Russian, French, Spanish, Polish, all these random, Hungarian, all these different types of languages, and he also speaks German as well. And he sometimes stays like come in and like go out and sit down and get your books out in some random language, and everybody's just like standing there, and he's like, oh, that's just basic knowledge, you guys don't know what the hell it means. He sometimes swears at us. Sometimes. And he's a really scary guy, and he's just that kind of person, like, open your books, page something something, and write this down in your book. So when we usually do maths, it's kind of boring, except sometimes when we say something to him, he has these kind of funny reactions. And like, for example, like, if I do, like there's this girl called Linda in our class, and she usually goes, I don't know this, and like, and the teacher was like, oh, you silly little girl, and then he just says these random remarks on her, and people just laugh, and we just waste our time. Sometimes we usually waste our time talking with the teacher for like 30 minutes each period. And next up we have science. Science teacher's nice. She's from Snell, but all our math teachers or like history teachers or English teachers are usually from our house, which is Upham. But our science teacher's from Snell, and I think she's a new teacher, and she has this British accent as well, and she is a British person. She worked at this place in London, and now she came to New Zealand to just live and become a teacher. And yeah, she's just nice, and like she's really enthusiastic about like this chemistry stuff because she's like a chemistry teacher. So that's why she chose chemistry as our first thing to do in term 1. And we're just doing all these fun stuff for science. Like, for example, we're spraying these kind of metal solutions, and if we spray it on the Bunsen burner, which is like fire coming out, like it has these kind of red fires and like purple, green, and yellow, all these different kind of colors of fires. And she's like, oh, look at that, isn't it beautiful? And she just yeah, like teaches us some fun stuff, but she just gives us like mostly useful stuff for tests, like for homework. So that's kind of like the bad part, but it's quite fun in science. And then we have morning tea. Morning tea, girls usually go somewhere, or they just sit on the bench. They just talk with them, and boys just play soccer, or they just sit around the bench doing nothing, saying nothing. Some just sleep, some just get some books out and sleep, or some just sit there. Yeah, and then we have history. History's like my favorite subject, and our teacher is kind of ironic. Yeah, our teacher's kind of ironic. He's kind of funny. He said there's this word like, and he said he's a little bit more stupid than other people, and he said he got this certificate from Britain, like from this hospital, saying like he is, like, I can't remember the word, but he just says that I'm more stupid than others, and he does lots of spelling mistakes when he's typing out something, and like the spell check doesn't work on his computer. He doesn't know how to activate it. So yeah, and he just when we first went into our history classes, like he just asked people random stuff, like for example long-sighted or short-sighted, and I said I don't know, and he's just like saying this random German. He also speaks about like 5 or 6 languages as well, foreign languages, like not including English. Yeah, and it's just quite funny. He just lets us go out in the field when we're not really allowed to. Normal teachers, like even the principal doesn't really allow us, the teachers, to do that, but we go out in the field, and he teaches us, like we play like war games, for example, like this, you become a tank, and like we just like run into each other and just like play fight or something like that for one lesson. Like we pretend like I'm like Germany, and they're pretending to be American, and I'm just like fighting with them and stuff in the field, and yeah, it's kind of fun. And at lunch, we usually do the same thing that we did in morning tea. We sometimes play soccer, and when we play soccer, there's this kind of like a fence wall thing, and when we kick it too high, it just goes over, and the ball rolls down to Snell House, and there's this really kind of like a not really good teacher in Snell House who really pisses the Upham students off, and once the ball got there, the teacher grabbed it, and he just kicked it more far away into the where the beach is over there. And he just kicks it really far over there. So what happened is two of my friends went up to the teacher, and then like they just tackled him, and then like he just fell over, and we said, "Oh, wait, watch where you're going," and yeah, it was just things of pranks on him because he like once we were playing handball, and he threw our tennis ball away as well, like twice. So like this guy called Caleb who lost 2 tennis balls, and this guy called Johanna who lost soccer ball because of him. And he's a teacher. Yeah, so he's not a really good teacher. And yeah, we usually play soccer or sleep or sit or some people do homework. Because we have about like 1 hour, so like you can finish your homework or something. And then we have English. Our English is, he said he went to Korea, South Korea, and stayed at Jeonju at 2008, since 2008, and he came this year and went into Necklace College, and he's a new teacher. And when he's in the middle of lessons, he just like makes these like funny comments, like that might be not related to the topic. And when we're having like paper, scissors, rock or something, like he says, "Let's do it the Korean way. Go whippo whippo." Just say these random Korean words, and like yeah, he can't really pronounce it well. He goes like, "Go whippo whippo, go whippo whippo. Let's go it is scissors," and like Bowie is rock, and yeah, we just play these random stuff. And once he let us play this game called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something. It's like an actual TV show. There's like a computer game on it. And yeah, one lesson like we just used 1 hour playing that game. Yeah, and it's just like an all English type of similar game, and we just sometimes do not related like topics, or like we just talk about these random other different kind of subjects. Like one lesson, like he only talked about Korea and like plastic surgery in Korea and all stuff. Yeah, so our teacher's quite nice. He's like one of the, and he speaks in an American accent because like he spoke in British accent, but when he went to Korea, the Korean students couldn't understand what he was saying, so he changed it to American. And yeah, so he looks like an American, like he like those circle glasses and like do you know Uncle Sam? Uncle Sam is this kind of like I say American guy who's like yeah, is a typical American like adult guy. You should search it on Google Images. Like he actually kind of looks similar to Uncle Sam. And yeah, last subject like is French, but last subject like I don't usually like it because I get sometimes like sleepy or something like that because it's like the last period, so like most people get sleepy and like tired and stuff. So for French, our teacher is usually nice to us, but sometimes when she gets angry, she's still smiling, but that's the really scary point. Like she smiles and gives us essays and detentions, like to the guy, so like it just scares him more out. It's like, oh okay, here's an essay. Oh okay, there's 2 school detentions for you, and she just smiles throughout the whole lesson, and yeah, she just like laughs at random, not funny stuff. So like people are just nobody's laughing. None of the students are laughing, but she's like ah ha 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 ha. Yeah, and she later goes like. What did you say? Yeah, we had this teacher called Mrs. Moore last year, and personally I think she's more better at French classes. She's teaching French as well, and economics. I think she was a better teacher. Our French teacher now, Miss Mouquet, her name is Miss Mouquet. Yeah, she's kind of like she's not a bad teacher, but she's like a little bit worse than our last French teacher. Yeah. So that's usually my whole school day, and after I come back, like if I have lessons, I just prepare for my lessons. But when I don't have lessons, I just come home, play with Chris, have a shower, go to my room, and if I have homework, I do homework. If I don't, I just, I don't know, study or draw or do nothing. Or, yeah, or sometimes I just ask my mom if I can sleep earlier, and I just sleep, or I just, yeah, do nothing if I don't have homework. And yeah, if it's like Friday or Sunday, I just like play games on the computer. Yeah, and I just stay up till like 11 or 12. and at about like 12 o'clock I come out again, and my dad